Well, I first want to say thank you so much for agreeing to interview with me. I really appreciate it. It was like super last minute, but...
Oh, no, that was fun.
So my first question is, you got a degree in meteorology.
Yes.
And then you switched to writing. So I wanted to know, like, how did you do that? How did you transfer from meteorology to writing? It's different.
Yeah, you don't meet too many ex-meteorologists writing. Well, I was working as an environmental meteorologist, which means I was doing a lot of air pollution studies for companies, who wanted to put in a new incinerator and they have to get an air permit. So they would hire my company to kind of help them with the air permit. But it was boring.
Yeah.
And we were consulting, so we would get lots of business at certain times of the years, and like during the summers, we get no business. So
right.
I was bored.
Yeah.
So I started writing stories down because I was bored at work.
Yeah.
I just really enjoyed it, so I kept doing it. And then when my kids were little and I was home with them, it was a creative outlet.
Yeah. So was Poison Study one of the, because that was your first book you published, correct?
Yes, yes.
So was that one of your first stories that you wrote? Or?
It was my first novel I wrote.
Okay.
I wrote a bunch of short stories before that that weren't short stories.
Right.
Everybody, they're so hard. I can't write short.
Yeah.
They kept saying, no, this is a novel, this is a novel.
Especially with fantasy, because there's just so much of that world building you need.
I know, and I do a lot of science fiction, cheesy science fiction short stories. The guy runs away from home and he stows away on the starship.
Oh yeah, that's something my husband would like to read. He likes all the starship stuff.
Yeah.
So how did you know you wanted to write YA in comparison to adult?
Well, that's a fun question because it has an interesting answer. I was originally, Poison Study was for adults.
Really?
In my mind, it was an adult story.
Okay.
I mean, she was 19, Valec's a little older.
Right.
And at the time, this is like 10 years ago, like young adult meant your main character has to be like 16, 17, like 19 was a little too old.
Yeah.
So I didn't even think YA. I was just thinking adult. But then my niece, who was 14 at the time, she wanted to read it.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, I had to look through. I'm like, yeah, I think
make
she
sure
can
it's
read
appropriate.
it. Yeah. So I gave it to her on a Friday night. Sunday afternoon, she's calling me. She loved it. She read it like in the weekend, and she really liked it. And then I thought, well, maybe if I can't sell it as an adult novel, maybe I'll try for YA.
Right. So, and I haven't read any of your other books other than The Poison Study. I know I'm horrible, it's so bad, but I tried. I read it really, really quick. So after you published Poison Study and you realized that it could relate to the young adult audience, after that, did you have that more in mind for the rest of the series and your other books?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. It's interesting because in the United States, when my books are published, like Shadow Study just came out.
Yeah.
They're published as adult fantasy.
Okay.
But I had gotten so many YA readers. Like when Poison Study came out, it came out the same month as Twilight.
Oh, really?
So I got a lot of emails that went, oh my God, I love your books. Have you read Twilight? And it was like, no, I hadn't, but now I will, because I got like about a bunch of them. And I told my publisher, I said, I'm getting a lot of emails from teens, and even though you publish this as an adult book.
Right.
So in the UK and in Australia, I'm a strictly YA author.
Oh,
they don't publish me as an adult at all.
Okay, so they only publish you adult in the US?
In the US.
So they do like separate covers, or?
Well, they tried in the UK. They did an adult cover and a YA cover, but the YA cover just kind of blew everybody away. So
they just dealt with that.
But yeah, in the US there is a there's an official YA cover in the US for Poison Study. It has green vines on it, and it's got a face, like a sideways face.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's out of print. So I don't know what one. Did you read it on Kindle or did you get actual book?
I read it print from the library. And it was the girl with the red dress, and she's like
going up the steps.
Yeah. So I think that's a different cover than you were talking about. Oh, that's the adult cover, really? Oh, I had no idea. It looks so young adult. That's crazy. Maybe because I just assumed it was young adult, so I thought young adult cover. I don't know. So, would you like to see any of you probably get this question a lot, books become TV or movie? And if so, which one would you rather?
I would rather TV show.
Okay.
Because they can take the time and do it right. Because with a movie, you only have 2 hours. And to condense a book down into 2 hours is hard.
They miss a lot.
Yeah, they miss a lot. And readers complain.
Yes. Yes.
You know, that it's not done well. But then when you do a TV show like Game of Thrones, you know, they can take their time.
Right.
Outlander's another one that they've been doing on Stars. And Outlander on
really,
Stars,
really good.
they can have the whole. They don't shy away from the nudity or any of the brutality, which is like wow.
Yeah, I love Outlander on Stars. It's one of my favorite series.
Yeah,
and Game of Thrones, really good.
Yeah, I haven't been watching Game of Thrones, but I've been watching Outlander.
Oh, Game of Thrones is really, really good. If you like Outlander, you love Game of Thrones, of course. They both have that really good quality.
Right, I read the book, and so I know what happened in the first book, and too many of my favorite characters die, so I'm like, I'm not watching because I don't want to get sad.
That's what I hear, and I hear the last like 3 or 4 books too are so much worse than the first one. So yeah,
this is like, no, I don't need to be sad. I like uplifting stories.
Yeah, totally understandable. So, okay, like I said earlier, I haven't read the entire Poison Study series.
That's okay.
And for me, it's really confusing, especially with Shadow Study, the way that it was released. And I know it's called the Soul Finder series, but it's supposed to be like a continuation, but is it a companion novel? So like my question basically is like what order should you read them in, and can you read Shadow Study without reading Poison Study, the first 3 books type thing?
Well, if you pick up Shadow Study without knowing, you can read it and understand what's going on.
Okay.
Because I had somebody test it.
Okay.
I had a person who hadn't read any of the books.
Right.
And I said, here, read this and tell me where you're confused.
Okay.
And she did. She highlighted a couple points. She wasn't sure about some things. But really, like Poison Study, Magic Study, Fire Study is like a complete trilogy.
Right.
Okay, it's a series. It's a beginning, middle, end, and everything. And then I did a spin-off novels, the Glass books.
Okay.
I took a character in Fire Study and did 3 books with Opal. She's a glass magician.
Right.
And then a lot of the same characters are in the Glass books, so that when I started Shadow Study, I kind of picked it up after Spyglass. So it's chronologically in order.
Okay.
But I try and make each of my books a standalone story with a beginning, middle, end. Doesn't always work quite well, but I do try and wrap up at least the main conflict to give the readers a sense that
of completion. Yeah. So you can read the first 3 Poison Study, and then you can read the Glass series. Is that what it's called? The Glass series.
Yeah.
And then you can do the Soul Finders, and you can read them in any order, kind of like separately, and you'll be okay.
You'll be okay.
But the way that you would recommend reading them would be Poison Study, Glass, and then Soul Finders.
Right. Yes. Like Poison, Magic, Fire.
Right.
And then Storm Glass, Sea Glass, Spyglass. And then Shadow Study.
Right.
And then Night Study's coming out in January, and Dawn Study, which would probably conclude the whole thing, because I think
you think you're done with that whole like world
those
and
characters,
stuff. Right.
And who knows? A couple of years down the road, I might change my mind.
Where do you find your inspiration to create these new fantasy worlds?
Well, I'm trying to think. I mean, everywhere, really.
Yeah.
They come. Well, I could be reading a book. I could be watching TV. I can just be thinking about something strange, and I'll come up with it. Like we were talking about the Studying Glass books. Well, they're all set in the same world.
Right.
So that was kind of, once you're established in a world, then to play around in it. And then I have so many characters that I could probably do a lot in it, but
right. Well, you've done a lot already. You've written, I mean, by the time you end, it'll be 9 books, right? So that's a lot to play around in the world and everything. I'm not a writer at all, so it's just so interesting to me to like find out how you guys get your inspiration and all that stuff.
Right.
When did you first get the idea to write Poison Study?
The actual first idea?
Yes.
I'll tell you, it's interesting since we're at this conference. I was reading Orson Scott Card's book, How to Write Science Fiction and Fantasy. And on chapter 3, there's a chapter about characters. And he was talking about having characters that weren't like the king and the queen, because yes, they're very powerful, but they don't have a lot of freedom.
Makes sense.
To act, because they got like their sycophants and they got their minions and they got, everybody, bodyguards watching them. It's kind of hard to go solve a crime when you're the king of the country.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so I thought of, I sparked on the idea of a food taster because he said to like find somebody who was close to the center of power but wasn't the center of power. And I'm like, well, a food taster would have to be there during all the meals. Yeah. And I'm Italian, I grew up in an Italian household, so everybody was always in the kitchen. You know, everything drama happened in the kitchen.
Right.
So I'm like, you know, that would probably make an interesting character, and I've read a lot of fantasies, and I didn't read too many that had a poison taster as the main character.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's how I got the idea.
That's very interesting. What was your reaction, your very first reaction to becoming a New York Times bestseller?
Well, a lot of screaming, a lot of jumping around, because my editor call me, or did she might have just emailed me.
you?
Yeah, yeah, so kind of like running around the house.
Right, just really excited. I would be like refreshing the new, I don't know when it was released your book, but I would be like refreshing the New York Times bestseller page, you know? I don't know if they had it on the internet then, because it wasn't, I mean, it was recent, but not too recent.
No,
right?
it wasn't until my third book, The Fire Stuff.
Oh, that you were a New York Times, oh okay. I wasn't sure, I knew you were New York Times, but I wasn't sure which book it had.
Yeah, well, it takes a while to build an audience.
Yeah,
and it wasn't until that third book came out when everybody was ready for the third book, so they went out and bought it all like in the first couple of weeks, which is what triggers it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a lot harder now to get on the list.
So the names in your books are super unique. How do you come up with names like that?
I'm a baby book.
Okay.
I use a baby book. I like to find names that have a meaning that matches the character. So I go through the baby books, and every time I start a new novel, I write down a list of 26 girl names and 26 boy names. I go every
very
letter
specific. Every alphabet.
Every letter of the alphabet. Or is it 24 letters? No, it's 26.
Okay, yeah, it's something like that. We don't know. We don't write
my
words.
brain doesn't work.
It's too early in the morning, right? Yeah.
And then I use those names as I go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know the end of a series when you start writing it from the first book?
Well, considering I wrote Poison Study to be a standalone, just one book, that would be no.
Yeah.
But I usually have a general idea how a book's going to end, but no, I don't have a whole series arc in my mind now.
Okay.
I just kind of go with it.
Yeah, I think I would be the same way if I ever did write anything.
Yeah, I don't outline. I just kind of, they call us seat of the pants writers, because we just like get an idea and we get some characters and we just start writing.
Yeah. So as an author, what is one thing that you would say to new writers of your books, and what is one thing that you would say to fans and consistent writers of all of your books?
To writers.
To readers. I'm sorry, to readers.
Okay.
What would you say to the new readers of your books, and then the readers who have been with you since the beginning?
Oh, well, the readers have been with me since the beginning. They rock. They're great.
Yeah.
I love my readers. They're very loyal. They're very fun and on. I appreciate all their efforts on my behalf.
Right.
For new people, I think, you know, my books show very strong female protagonists, and I get a lot of action, so make sure you have time to read, because you might get hooked in.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you might be up late. I've gotten emails like in the middle of the night from people who just finished your book, thank you so much, now I'm going to be grumpy at work.
That's funny.
I don't feel bad.
So about your consistent readers, I was doing some research on you for the interview, and I was looking at your website, and on your website you have all these like questions, and people can submit questions to get assigned a book plate and stuff like that from you. Do you have a lot of people doing that consistently?
I have a steady flow, but not as many as you would think.
Yeah. Well, I was wondering because, you know, Poison Study's been out for a while, and you have questions for each specific book that you put out. And so I was wondering, since Poison Study's been out for so long, how, you know, do a lot of people still submit the questions? Because it's a good deal to, I mean, if you read the book anyway, you probably know the answers to the questions to get a signed book plate. I don't know if my viewers know that, because I thought it was a pretty cool thing that you do. I haven't seen any other author do that.
Yeah, well, people like to have signed books. So this is a way, you know, it's like a sticker, and they stick it in their book, and I use 10 bookmarks too. And I just found like it was like a fun way to just engage with the reader. And like some of them, like, you know, it's a challenge, you know, they want to find all the answers to the questions.
Yeah, I was the same way. I was like, oh, I got to answer all the questions, and I was all for it. For like, it's like a scavenger hunt. So for me, and I love stuff like that. So it was great. I thought it was a great thing that you do as an author, because I haven't seen anyone else do something something like that.
Yeah.
And speaking of interacting with your readers, I didn't find a Twitter. Do you have a Twitter?
No, I don't.
Why not?
I'm like the only one who
I know.
doesn't have a
I was
Twitter.
searching everywhere for your Twitter and I couldn't find it anywhere.
Well, I only have so much time for promotion.
That's true.
So I'm on Facebook and I have Goodreads.
Yeah.
I have a blog and I have my website, and that takes a lot of my time.
Yeah.
So I just don't feel like Twitter is something that I can follow and engage in properly. Like I'd probably be like tweeting like once a month or something, and I don't think that works with Twitter.
I think it definitely would. I mean, as a reader and I'm new to Twitter as well. I just joined Twitter in like the last 6 to 8 months or something like that. And as soon as I got into it, I was hooked. Being able to, like, I talk directly with authors that I love, big name authors, New York Times bestsellers like you, and it's so easy to conversate with, you know, bigger authors and stuff on Twitter, which it usually wouldn't be, you know, if you don't have something like that. So I mean, it's a great website. So I mean, and even if you did tweet once a month, I'd totally be down for that. So I mean, you know, but that's just me.
I'll have to look into it. Like on Facebook, if you leave a comment, I always comment back.
Oh, okay.
I always answer all my messages and all my emails.
Okay.
So I do have a lot of interaction with my readers. I just haven't gone into the tweet universe.
Right. Well, if you ever do, tweet me.
Okay.
It's in my email and the thing on the bottom, because I would definitely follow you for sure. And I think a lot of your readers would too, because, you know, us young generation, we love the Twitter.
I can't think of being clever and like this cute little, you know, you hit like what, 140 characters?
Yes, that's the worst part about Twitter, is you have to write in 140 characters.
Yeah, see, like Facebook, I can post Facebook and I know how to do that. And like last night, I was out shopping in Winter Park, Florida. They have a nice little strip area, you know, cute stores, and they had a bookstore called Writer's Block Bookstore.
Oh, okay.
So I took a picture of the sign, and then I could post that on Facebook, and I get a lot of interaction that way.
Right.
You know, there's only so many hours in the day.
Yeah, it's completely understandable. I understand. What authors inspire you?
Well, I have a lot of authors that I read, like, before, like when I was, like Dick Francis is a mystery author that his style is something that's similar to my style. Like first person point of view. I end my chapters with little cliffhangers. He did that as well. So I think he influenced my writing. And then there was like Mercedes Lackey and Kate Elliott, a bunch of female science fiction fantasy authors, Barbara Hamley, I loved. And
Mercedes Lackey, I don't know if you know, she just came out with her first young adult, well, from what I know, I think it's her first young adult novel called Hunter, and I read it. It was great. It was really good, about dragons and all that stuff.
Yeah, she's hard to keep up with because she puts out a lot of books.
Yes, she does.
She had a lot, when I started reading her, she had a big backlist. And actually, she's one of the authors that published with the same line Poison Study was published with, her Fairy Godmother series. And we all had a group on Yahoo, and she actually made me a necklace with Poison Study, like matching the colors and stuff.
That's sweet, sweet.
Yeah,
so two of my last really quick questions. What are you currently reading?
All right, I'm reading Magic, is it Burns? Yeah, I think it's Magic Burns by Alana Andrews. It's an urban fantasy. Yeah, it's good. I really like her writing, or their writing. It's a husband-wife team.
Oh, okay. And then what are some young adult books that you've read that you would recommend for people who enjoy your series and stuff?
Enjoy my series. Well, The Iron King.
Okay, yeah, I read that this year. That was
Julie
good.
Kagawa.
I love Julie Kagawa.
Yeah, that was a good series that I really enjoyed. And Rotten Ruin.
Okay, I haven't heard of that.
Jonathan Mayberry. It has zombies in it.
Okay.
But it's not really a horror book. It's more about the brothers.
Okay.
The Maze Runner was good.
Oh yeah, I love The Maze Runner.
Yeah,
that was really
book,
good.
The rest of the series I didn't like.
Yeah, I haven't continued on for the rest of the series, but I've heard the same thing. People really love The Maze Runner, and the rest of the series was
It's the same. It was the same old, let's put them in danger and let's see how bad it can get.
Yeah.
And the characterization was no longer being. In the first book, it was a lot about the characters and them working together and figuring things out. By the second book, it was just like, let's put them in the fire and see, you know, how they get out.
So going off of that, one really last quick question, hopefully we can get it before my camera dies, is as an author then, how do you feel doing like constructive criticism of other authors like you were mentioning with the Maze Runner series?
I try not to be too negative because authors get a lot of bad reviews and negative things, and so when I do Goodreads, when I post my reviews, if I try and keep everything pretty positive. Try. I mean, I have little nitpicks. I'm big with endings. There's not many authors that can get an ending just right. It's a hard thing to do. And sometimes they'll cheat. They'll bring in the savior at the last minute, or they'll rush it. You know. So. Or
sometimes books, the endings will be just too perfect. Like everything just got set into place a little bit too perfectly.
But I try not to. If I really don't like a book, I won't review it.
You won't review it?
No,
okay.
No. And if I can't finish the book, there's lots of times I get to page 20, page 30, I ask myself a question. Do I care? Do I care about the character? If the character were to die on the next page, would I be upset? And if the answer is no, then I don't care. And the book goes. And it doesn't matter if the plot's clever or there's a twist or the world's really cool. If I don't care about the characters, I'm not wasting my time. There's so many books out there.
Yes, there is. That's great advice, especially for someone like me who, you know, reviews professionally. I don't know, that's the closest thing I can relate to it. And for other people, you know, a lot of my viewers are reviewers as well. So I mean, that's really good advice because there's a lot of guilt in BookTube, especially about finishing every single book and reviewing every single book and all that stuff.
I used to do that. I used to like finish every book, hoping it would get better, and it was so rare that it would. Like The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, everybody loved that book. And I read it, the first 20 pages, and it was just all telling. It's like, let's tell the reader what's going on. And I'm going to tell you about the characters, but I'm not going to show you them interacting. But everybody's like, oh, just wait, you know, wait 300 pages and it gets better. I'm like,
that's a lot of time to commit to a book.
I'm not enjoying it. Why should I keep reading?
All right, well, thank you so much for interviewing me. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And I'm really excited. I told all of my viewers that I'm going to be doing a giveaway for your newest book, Shadow Study.
Yes, and I'm going to sign it.
Yes, she is. So that will be linked down below if you guys are interested in that. So go and check out that giveaway. And thank you so much again. And I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye!